So we are talking about uh, devotion to me. So in the last verse, that is 23 and 24, we like I said, we will just do a recap of it. So you will get an understanding of it. How does a person have devotion for the Lord? Devotion for the Lord comes through singing, reflecting on His tales. That means if there are bhajans and kirtans and car music, and if you know what is devotional music that is going on, and if you participate in it, if you listen to it, if you hear it while you're driving or something like that, and if you indulge in it by being a part of it, then devotion increases. It is conducive to the well-being and purity of the world. Again, imitating my deeds. Imitating my deeds means there are lots of time during the year when you have different kinds of functions. Ram Leelas are there, and so on and so forth. Mahabharata is being recited. At that point in time, it is important to be a part of it, to maybe play a role if there is a play that is required, where you may play the role of a Ram or a Sita or something like that. You can do that as well. Then he says, my deeds and lives, having me as their refuge and pursuing duty, desire, and wealth for my sake. Everything that you do in this world has to be done for my sake alone. That means it is not that you are going to do something for yourself, because at the end of the day, if you do something for yourself, you're going to incur karma. So he says, do something for me. So when you do something for me, then what happens is you are, it is like I said yesterday, one example of, the patriarch of the family. You are giving everything that you earn, you give it to him at the beginning of the month, whatever you earn, and then he distributes it to everybody. So just imagine you are working for Krishna. So Krishna will take all your credits and he will distribute them in the world. It's like that. So in that case, what happens? You are getting a lot of positive benefits, which you may not understand. It is, think about it. Just imagine that there is a story in which Radha says to Krishna, I want to be with you alone. I don't want any other person around me. Now, this is the meanest thing that a person can say. From her point of view, it is the right thing that she has said because she wants exclusivity. But this universe and everything that is there in it, plus the people, this entire creation is just a manufactured thing. It is not real. Nothing is real. It belongs to Prakriti. Prakriti has created these objects. The unmanifest domain, which is another thing, that is also what the Prakriti says, this is what is the created object. So he is supposed to go towards this unmanifest and think about it as God. Whereas this and this both are his own creations. So if there is a distinction being made that I want to have only this, which is the manufactured thing, then it is wrong. So Krishna says that you should have both, but you can have both provided you love both. So when there is an Advaitist, he denies the whole creation. When is the creator person who believes in creation, Advaitist, Dvaitist means the one who believes in duality, he considers God as somebody else and this whole thing as somebody else. No. Everything is divine. That is what I was doing yesterday. I said there is only one soul. And in that one soul, how can you have separations? So when you love something, when you have exclusivity of devotion, you are just saying, think about it, I love only the heart of the person, not the rest of the body. So, can I pull out the heart and you can just go with the heart and the rest of the person can die? Is that correct? Or I say that, oh, I like that beautiful, that vermilion dot that you put on your head, the rest of your face and body I don't like. That is wrong. So when Radha says something like this, it is wrong because she is thinking exclusivity helps. Actually, it doesn't help. You have to love everything in the creation. And this is what is going to be taught today. All right, so we have finished this. So we are starting verse 25 from chapter 6, the last message of Sri Krishna, Uddhava Gita. He worships me, attaining devotion for me through association with sages. He indeed easily realizes my state, inculcated by the sages. This is a separate verse altogether. What does it mean? Human beings cannot achieve perfection without the help of a teacher. The teacher who is full of knowledge is me alone, Krishna says. So the sages, saints, gurus are absolutely required for attaining anything. There are many a times, you might have heard, there are people who deny their gurus. They say that, oh, I got my knowledge just like that. There is nobody on this planet Earth, including the Lord Himself, who can get knowledge on His own. If the Lord is born on this earth, He has to go through this medium called the sage, the guru. That means even if Krishna is born today, he will need to have a master. A master is the doorway towards reaching the enlightened state of being divine. Absolutely. You may say, why? Again, you see, if there is no doorway, how will you enter? When a person says that, I got my knowledge just like that, I was meditating on the Himalayas for 1,000 years and suddenly the knowledge came to me by the grace of whatever, God. Nothing like that happens actually. And this is one thing which people need to understand. Now, you may say that, Buddha got enlightened without there was no guru. Of course, they were gurus. See, whatever they had taught entered his system and stayed there. Sometimes a person feels that I haven't learned anything, I don't want to know. And it is not that person's knowledge. I got it because I thought about it. This is how it works. Whereas, what is the reality? The reality is simply like this. If you do not have that break in life, you will not realize the truth. To realize the truth, sometimes you have to go through certain terrible means. What is death? If this is the question that you wish to know, till you do not experience death, you are not going to understand. And that is a good lesson for a person. That means if a person needs to understand death, he has to see death. Practicality. This is the practical aspect of it. Again, people have this habit of saying, that I don't want to practice it, but I have seen other people. Other people's experiences are different. Are you different than any other person? 100%. How much is your knowledge? Can you tell me how much is every individual's knowledge? Nobody can gauge it. Because you are only going to gauge from the age of 0 to whatever age you are. You may say, I am a B.Tech graduate. Okay. And you will say, oh, I studied till the age of 22. And now for the last 7, 8 years, I am working in this company. So my knowledge is so much. I am knowledgeable. Material worldly knowledge is not knowledge. It is ignorance. It has taken you away from the reality. The reality is who are you? And what has the reality come to you today? I am a working employee. I am married to so and so. I have so many children. This is what your reality is, the reality which you think it is. I am the son of so and so. I am staying in this country, this place, this location. And this is what you have thought of yourself. I am this person. And if I have to remove you from that place, then what happens? I exile you to the moon. Go, get out. Then what happens? So, will you say that I stayed in the moon? That is all wrong. It is nothing to do with the place, location, and qualification, or who are you married to, how many children. It has nothing to do with that. Who are you is a main question. Nobody knows the answer, and that answer is only through spiritual guidance. It's only when you get the guidance in spirituality will you understand. So, sages are important. So, he says, worship me. Krishna says, worship me, attaining devotion for me through the association of the sages. Without the association of the Guru or the sage, you will not be able to meet me. And he will explain this to you later on. He indeed realizes my state inculcated by the sages. Inculcated by the sages. What does this mean? Inculcation, taking in, grasping, you know. So I will have it inculcated through the sages. That means the sage has my state. The sage is me alone, so the sage has my state, and because the sage has my state, so when you go through him, you will also inculcate it. Otherwise, you won't. Think about it like this. Now you are learning a particular kind of a martial art. How many types of martial arts are there? So many. So let us say you are learning Kung Fu. Or in India we say Kalyarapat or something like that. Okay. Now if you want to learn Kung Fu, you go to a Kung Fu master. He is going to teach you Kung Fu. Right? Now, is he going to teach you Qigong or Qigong? No. He's not going to teach you that because he may not be a master of that. If there is a karate master, he is going to teach you karate. So, different masters have different knowledge with them. This is material worldly knowledge. In spiritual domain, it is the knowledge of that self, SELF, capital SELF, which means the divine, the truth in this world. So, knowing the truth is essential in spiritual. So, inculcating the state of the sages, their truth becomes your truth. The devotional path is through them. Okay. So now Uddhava is going to ask certain questions to Krishna. So verse 26 says, Uddhava said, O thou of surpassing glory, O Lord, what sort of a sage dost thou prefer most? What kind of devotion approved by sages is most acceptable to you? So in this question he is asked, Ki first, can you tell me what kind of a sage are you preferring? There is a sage, he must be certain kind of a sage. There are different kinds, Like just now I said, a kung fu master is a kung fu master. Huh? Like that, if you are learning certain things, you will have a different master. So if you are trying to understand Even physics or chemistry master is different than physics master, isn't it? Like that in spirituality also, the sages are there, different kinds of sages are there, and what are they up to, and who is the kind of person that you will recommend. Verse 27 says, O Lord of men, O Lord of the spheres, O Lord of the universe, say this to me, for I have prostrated myself to thee, am devoted to thee, and have surrendered myself to thee. Verse 28 says, O Lord, thou art the supreme Brahma, infinite like the sky, the Purusha who is beyond the Prakriti. Thou art incarnated on earth, assuming a separate body of thy own accord. Now, this is a knowledge which is there in Uddhava, by the way. Think about it. He knows there is the Lord Almighty standing in front of him. Think about it. This is very strange. Even if God is standing in front of you, yet you can't see him. Doesn't that sound strange? Krishna is standing right in front of Uddhava, and yet he is asking Krishna the question, how do I have devotion to you? And Krishna says, you want to come to me, come through the sage. If you come directly to me, no devotion. Okay, you are just some ordinary person. So this is something which is, doesn't it tell you that this is something really extraordinary in this world? The same thing he had said to Namdev also. Namdev's story is well known. Namdev thought that he was eating food with the Lord. And when he goes to meet Krishna, I mean, that is Vithoba, Vithoba says, I'm sorry, you have not attained me at all. If you want to attain me, first you have to find your master. So go find your master. And that is the reason why Namdev searches for the master. The master's name is Vishwabha Khechar, goes and finds him. And it is the master who teaches him what is the meaning of the word Lord. What is the example? The example is what Krishna just now gave, what I gave also just now. What did I say? You can never find me if you do not love my universe and do not love everything in this world. The example is very simple. If you think you have so much of devotion to me, you will never find me. The living entity called Krishna, even if you have Krishna in front of you, you can never find Krishna if you don't love my creation. So when Vishwabha Khechar is teaching Namdev, what happens over there? Vishwabha Khechar is sleeping with his legs on top of the pindi. That is the linga, Shivlinga. So Namdev says, looks at his leg and he puts it at the side. So wherever he puts the leg, he finds a pindi, a linga is springing up over there. So finally he realizes this must be my master. So the master wakes up and says to him, see, put my leg where there is no God. So to see God in everything is the only way of enlightenment. People have this habit of hating people. I don't like this one. I don't like that person. This one is not good. That one is not good. This kind of hatred that is there, person, even if they live with Krishna, they will never attain him. Never in any life of theirs can they attain Krishna. Because hatred is the doorway to hell. If you know that. Anger, hatred, all they are called Shadripus. Shadripus means 6 worst kind of sins. So any person who has even an iota of it can never attain Krishna in any life of theirs. They may live with Krishna. They will just be some ordinary mortal over there. So this is the truth about sages. The sages have to be honored. And if you do not honor them, then you can never attain Krishna anytime. Never in life. And this is what he is going to teach. So he says, assuming separate bodies for thy own accord. When Krishna takes a form, he takes a form for a particular reason. The reason is to put dharma back on this planet Earth. Dharma means what? Following the path of righteousness. What is righteousness mean? Righteousness means, if you remember yesterday, we were discussing certain things. There is a movie going on today where a woman, when she is going somewhere, somebody pours acid on her face. Now, when somebody pours acid on her face, she fights a legal case in the battle in the court. She wins it. Now, this is a story. It is story. Somewhere it has happened. What is righteousness in this case? Can anybody say what is righteousness in this case? So, the general consensus is this woman has been affected. So, we need to take her side and we need to see that she gets compensated. And maybe she should get into some kind of a surgery, what they call it as plastic surgery and all that. And our sympathies are with her. Isn't sympathy something which destroys everything? Think about it. Because we sympathize with a person, we do not encourage that person into doing something spectacular. It is only when you have the deficiencies in the system. You can't walk with two legs. You don't have legs. The legs have been cut off. So you use artificial feet. Have you heard about this person who runs faster than anybody because he has artificial feet? Now, if that person was not motivated enough and if he was pitied, you think he would have become like that? So never pity a person. Never pity a person because, oh my God, poor fellow, he's got such a horrible face. He's got no legs and all that. No, 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 no. Encourage them. Empower them. So, to be on the path of dharma means to empower a person, not pity a person. Not show them sympathy. Show them what they can achieve in their life. So if this lady whose face got burned because of that, tell her what she can do, how she can achieve objectives in this world. Can she become a beacon for all the other people who suffer? Can she be the leader? That is important. Not, chastising the person who has done this thing wrong or putting him in jail. By putting him in jail, it's not going to help anybody, by the way. He should be put in jail, no doubt about it, as per the law of this world. But help this lady get out of that rut. People think that it is not my problem, it is somebody else's problem. It's like when I do satsang, people have this general idea this satsang is meant not for me, but the other person is suffering. That is why the other person has to be given this satsang. Actually, if you are hearing my words, they are meant for you, not for somebody else. It is your defect, not somebody else's defect. And empowerment means what? Overcoming the problem that you have. Isn't that true? Just now, did I not say? Overcoming the problem. So, if you have anger as your main problem, overcoming that anger is empowerment. Overcoming that thing on your face because somebody has poured acid on it, overcoming that is empowerment. If you have certain defects of whatever the defect might be, that smallness that a person feels, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. What do you mean by you can't do this and you can't do that? You can do anything in this world. So Krishna came on this planet Earth because he has to show the path of dharma. Do you remember in the Bhagavad Gita, that person was cowering in his, chariot? Who? Arjuna. Oh, I can't fight, I can't do this, I can't do that. And he tells him, no, you can. Go and fight. That is called empowerment, isn't it? So the person has a defect. The person has a defect. The defect could be is yellow. You know, yellow means what? A person who is afraid of things. The fear is there. Anxiety is there. You know, person is always, what can I do? What can I do? I don't know what to do. These are the problems which every individual may have, different kinds of issues. You got to identify the problem that you have in the first place. What is your problem? My problem is money. That is the first thing a person says, you know. Money is always, according to them, a problem. Actually, it's a facilitator. When you don't have money, you will work hard to get money. The problems are connected to the Shadripus, the defects in that body. Okay? If you have envy for another person, oh, that person got so many degrees, I didn't get to study, I am the worst creature on earth. Who said that? An idiot will say that, boss, you have the time to study. Why are you wasting your time in doing something completely different? You know, self flagellation. You know, self flagellation means what? Trying to beat yourself up. I didn't get to study. I didn't get to study. I didn't get to study. It's called self flagellation. This is pitiable condition. Krishna comes on this earth. In the Bhagavad Gita, he says, this is what you got to do. Go and fight. Okay? Don't show me that yellow face of yours. Don't show me that, oh, I am such a miserable person. This is the reason why the Lord takes birth. Okay? One very, very important thing is this. Then, why is it that you can't see the Lord? Because the Lord is not there to show his face to you. Krishna was not there for Arjuna to give him enlightenment, by the way. If you need an enlightenment, you have to go to a spiritual master. Krishna himself has become spiritual master many a times. But when he becomes a spiritual master, he is not the Lord of the universe. He takes you to the Lord of the universe. There is a difference in this. Please understand this. Can you understand what I'm saying? There is Krishna who has taken birth. Krishna who has taken birth. Now, this Krishna is a friend. To meet him, you have to go through the spiritual master. When he is teaching something, he is the spiritual master. And through him, you can attain the divine Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, he is KrsnaGuru. He is the guru of Arjuna. But the moment that thing is over, he becomes a charioteer. And after that, he splits himself into four entities. He is not a spiritual master. He is the one who is going to motivate this world into doing something. He is the king, right? He becomes the king of Dwarka and all that. It is only when he is dying that all the entities are back into him. Remember, everybody is dead. When this thing is going on, everybody is dead except him. They're all fighting over there, no? And he's teaching Uddhava something. So he is now the spiritual master. Because all entities are in one and he's teaching. So this, I hope you all got this whole idea about it. The other story which I told you of Namdev, Vithala has come over there to be worshipped. But he leaves only the form of the black stone. Now, can you understand the black stone? No. You have to go through your doorway to understand what is inside that black stone. So, Namdev has to meet his guru. So, I hope you all understood this whole, rigmarole thing that I told you about. So, let us see what he says. So, the Lord comes on earth only so that he can follow and make others follow the path of dharma. By you understanding your swadharma, you will go on your path. Swadharma is the reason why you have taken birth. Dharma is the path of righteousness, to do the right thing there. And right thing is not what you think the material worldly right. This right is different. Okay, so the Lord says, so we are doing verse 29. The Lord says, compassionate with enmity to no creatures, forbearing with truth at his as his strength, of all an impeccable mind, same to all, benefactor of all beings. So, who can be the spiritual master? A spiritual master's qualities, number one, is he is very compassionate. Compassionate to that. Compassion is always translated into that, oh, you are so nice, you're so kind, okay, like, no, 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 no. Compassion means giving two tight slaps also. You see, if somebody is falling down on their path, the master's job is to give that slaps to that person. There is a very beautiful story of Vashishta Muni and Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra always thought Vashishta Muni is his enemy. Though he knew he is the highest master, he is the Brahma Rishi, he is the topmost Rishi in this world. And who was Vishwamitra? Vishwamitra was a king. Now, this king, he was Vishwamitra, the friend of mankind. Just think about it. Friend of mankind and enemy of the Guru? How does that sound? How can Vishwamitra be considering Vashishta Muni as his enemy? Then he is not Vishwamitra. He is Vishwa Dushman. You know, Dushman, enemy of this world. So Vishwamitra considers Vashishta Muni as his enemy. Actually, what is Vashishta Muni saying? If you want to qualify for certain thing in this world, you need to have the qualification for it. The qualification is so very important. Just by saying I am qualified doesn't make you qualified at all. There are so many graduates, engineers, this and that, and all those kind of things. You may have learned the very simple language, language skills, C++ and all that. But even a 8th standard student can learn that language. Application of the language for many years, then you become a master in that subject. But he's not an engineer. He's just an 8th standard pass. So do you understand? Qualification is a different terminology over here. Compassion means to have compassion for the people. Compassion is equivalent to love. When you love someone, you show them the path. Do you understand? When you love someone, you show them the path. So if I give a tight slap to the person and I say, this is the path you need to follow, that person considers me as the worst creature on earth. That is not correct. Because compassion means giving slap and yet showing the path. The reason is because it is self. SELF. The love is of the self. Not the small self, the divinity called the self. And this love is unconditional, and that is why the person is treating you like this. So compassion is there. Second, enmity to no creature. The sage, even if you want to become the sage, you can never have enmity to anybody. Please understand this. Nobody can be your enemy. You cannot treat people like enemies at all. Even the worst creature on this planet Earth, the person may come and kill your own whole family. Still, you cannot consider that person as an enemy. Enmity to no creature. How many have that? People think every other person is an enemy, especially those who go in corporate world. No, they have their coterie, some 3 4 people who are called their chamchas. They have their chamchas, and they think that they are not their enemy. The rest of the world is against them. In every corporation, in every company, this is how people think. So they will have some 4 5 people. You will find that in some offices they go for cigarettes, or they go for a tea. So 4 5 people will go for a tea. Or in women's world, it is like, they will meet in the powder room or basically over there. This happened and that happened, and then they have grapevines, secret agents. Actually, that is the worst thing that they can do. That means you don't have equanimity. You can never qualify for anything in this world. You are just an ordinary person like any other person in this world. When you have compassion for everybody, when you are having enmity with no one, you may think that there is a person who is trying to pull you down. No. Actually, that person is the most responsible person on earth. It is because of that person you are going to rise in your life. How can he be your enemy then? Think. We have a lot of so-called enemies in this world. Isn't it because of that enemy you become stronger? Right? What hurts you will make you more stronger, isn't it? It's a very, very strange world. People think that those who pander and pamper are their friends. Actually, they are the enemies. They do not allow you to grow in your life. There are people who will pander to you. Oh, you're so good, you're so good, you're. Actually, they are selfish people. They're selfish to the core. If somebody comes and panders to you and somebody says, oh, you're so nice and all that, actually, that person is selfish. He has got ulterior motives. Ulterior motives are what? I want to grow, so I'll go and use butter on that person. Wholesome butter or Amul butter. What? That is wrong. It is to grow for themselves. They are trying to grow for themselves. They are not good. So those who are there like this, they're actually pulling down that person. The enemies, they think of them as enemies, are the ones who are making them stronger. You should always keep enemies in your surrounding. Then you become the strongest. Think what I am saying. You see, in the boxing ring, everybody is your enemy. Isn't it? It's when you get the championship belt. Isn't it because of the enemies that you think have you got that belt? Suppose you had friends. You think they are going to beat you, box you? No. They will do you will do they'll do then you will do it's also fake fight. No. When there is a very strong opponent in front of you, you become stronger. This is the truth about this world. Nobody understands this truth. They think that the friend is good. Never. So this is one. So for a sage, he has enmity to no creature. He is forbearing. Forbearing to what extent? You cannot even imagine the kind of forbearance which a sage has. You see, if you have an ordinary cold, you are going to suffer. You keep on doing like this throughout. A sage doesn't care. He will take on your diseases. He will take on your problems. He doesn't tell anybody that he is taking on. Think. You cannot handle your own body. I got pain in my leg, I have this, I have that, this is my problem, that is my problem, my hairs are falling, I got stomach, I got this, I am putting on weight, I am losing weight. I got loose motions, I go to the toilet for 1 hour. People have these issues. So individually you can't handle yourself. Can you see that? If you cannot handle yourself, how can you handle the other person with you? Do you understand what I'm saying? You should be able to not only handle your own body, but can you handle other 10 people with you? Then you become a sage. A sage is a person who has got terrific endurance power. He not only handles his own issues, he handles the issues of this world. Yesterday, somebody wrote to me about he has got some what disease? Yeah, CKD, some issue with his urinary tract. Now, why would somebody say to me about urinary tract infection? Actually, they are supposed to go to the doctor. But by saying things like this, the sage normally is able to handle it, but he is still going to say, go to the doctor. Did you get that? So he has got terrific forbearance. He can withstand any kind of issue. I just told you issues connected to health and all. But there are other issues in this world, not connected to health. Sometimes it is connected to relationships. Sometimes it is connected to money. Sometimes it is connected to different. You may not even know what they are connected to. Not only in this dimension, but other dimensions as well. So he has got forbearance as far as that is concerned. With truth as his strength. Always remember, the Guru, whatever he does, says, is the absolute truth. A man may not understand that. Just now we were listening to one small video. In that, the person says, the sage said these words. Ashoka said these words. And I was there with him. Now, Ashoka happened so many years ago, hundreds of years ago. And you will say, how can this person be? He's telling lies. No, he's a sage. He's telling the truth. You don't know that. So sometimes the sage says certain very peculiar words. Please remember those words are connected to the truth. Whatever he says and does is the truth. Do not try to discount it. And don't say that you are having this, falsehood. No, the sage always tells the truth. The master always tells the truth. He's got truth as his strength of an unimpeccable mind. His mind is absolutely pure and clean, not like ordinary people. Ordinary people have, they hide daggers in their mind. They will say very nicely, hello, how are you? How do you do? Actually, they are carrying a multiple daggers in their hands and their different parts of body. Never go by that. I told you, no? A friend is not a friend. If you want to be spiritual, please understand you can welcome enemies. Don't welcome friends. They will pull you down. Let me put it this way. They will say to you, now you are in spiritual, they will say to you, why do you want to become a sadhu? Why you want to become this disciple or this devotee of this person? You have got a family. You've got to take care of your mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife. Oh, I am your friend. That is why I am telling you this. Aren't your friends telling you and your family members who have great regards for you telling you not to be in spiritual? They are your enemies. Please understand that. They are your enemies. Don't bother your head about these people. In reality, they appear as friends. And who are your enemies? Somebody who tries to pull you down constantly, pulling you down. It's when you are getting pulled down that you will try to climb higher. Is when somebody says to you, you are useless fellow. You don't even understand how these things are done. You have not learned anything. Okay? You are worthless. When somebody comes and says this, you, the self, gets motivated to become better and better in life. So this truth is not understood, like I said. So the sage, he has impeccable mind. He's pure only. He only means the truth. And he says the truth. He is same to all and benefactor of all beings. He has no partiality in him. He is not partial to one person and the other person feels, oh, he is always with this person. Did I not tell you about Namdev's story? Namdev can stay with Krishna, but yet Namdev will be the biggest idiot on earth. Because Namdev will never reach God. Never. It's when he meets the Guru, it's when he goes through the trials and travails of his spiritual development, then only he can reach. I think today's lesson will teach you what is it, how to become pure in this world. So he is having no partiality in him. He's impeccable whereas that is concerned. He is the same to all and he is a benefactor to all. Not benefactor to one person only. He doesn't have enemies at all. Please understand, he doesn't have any friends nor enemies. He has equanimity at constant times. And because he has equanimity, he sees everything in the same way. To become a sage, these are certain qualities that you need to have: compassion, enmity to none, everything is the same, forbearing, should be able to undergo all kinds of issues and yet stand strong, full of strength, truth, everything that he says is the truth. He is of an impeccable mind, his mind is absolutely pure, he is same to all and is a benefactor to all. So we have ended verse 29. Next time we shall do verse 30 onwards. So I will see you all in the coming week. Take care. Thank you.